Welcome to Strange Paths, a podcast where we examine choose-your-own-adventure style stories. We are your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Megan, and a teenage rat smashed my pumpkin last night.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's not a euphemism.
It's literal and real.
Yeah. It is true, and it's unfortunate.
At least they haven't picked up smoking or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do when I'm asleep.
That's true.
Vandalize all my stuff.
Maybe don't leave all your stuff outside.
Come, Megan.
Well, it happened inside.
Oh.
They pushed it off of my kitchen table and smashed it and ate it all over the floor.
Are you sure this wasn't just like the Midnight Hungries?
No, that's what I asked myself the first time when I found a banana shoved in between my fridge and the counter. But I don't think so.
Am I doing this? What's wrong with me?
So this week we have something a little different.
Ooh.
This week I will be reading.
That's so different.
I will be reading a plot your own adventure story. Given to us by a fan.
Well, a friend.
Wow.
A friend.
A very awesome friend. A friend.
Oh,
Yes.
friend.
Yes. So this week's story is Star Trek II Distress Call by William Rotsler.
Courtesy of Michael. Thank you, Michael. We're so
thanks,
excited.
Sounds distressing, Michael. I'm not excited yet.
You like it because it is a Star Trek story.
Yeah.
And Spock's on it. And the one that you find sexier. So you're into it.
Yeah, not the new Spock.
The old Spock.
No, vintage.
Data's
old
the
Spock.
sexiest.
Well,
but-
out of the Spocks.
Oh, they're both good.
But you told
Different
me
tastes.
that you thought old Spock was better last week.
But they're both good.
Oh my god.
She has to change her answer since it's going to be public now.
Diplomatic. No. They're both exemplary gentlemen.
So, the cover of this book, I assume, features stuff from maybe one of the movies. I feel bad because, I've seen some episodes of the original series, but I've always been more of a Next Generation or Deep Space Nine kind of guy. Mm-hmm.
That's because, Picard is the best one.
He's the best.
Out of everyone in history in the world, Patrick Stewart is the best.
Well, plus it's hard to beat some Quark in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, he's in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, the other one I mentioned.
Well, I wasn't listening because I was thinking about Patrick Stewart.
I was too. I was not listening to you at all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thinking about whenever he's riding horses in the holodeck and he's got his romance gear on.
Mm-hmm.
Patty Stu, if you want to come and be a guest on the podcast.
Oh, man.
We have two locations to choose from.
Right.
Yeah.
We promise we won't make it weird.
It's going to be weird. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be a nice weird. Yeah. But anyway, this is from the original series cast.
The original series, I'm guessing maybe maybe this takes place during the second movie, since it specifically says Star Trek II.
How many movies there are? I don't know.
Well, there's 6 movies I know from the original series.
Ugh.
That's, yeah, okay.
But anyway, the cover features a few pictures. One of them is the good old... God, what's that room? Wait, think of it.
I don't know what you want me to think of. So.
The magic room with the holograms and stuff?
No, so the first one is the main deck, and there's sparks flying everywhere. The bridge, yes.
What an idiot. You didn't even remember bridge, am I right, Megan?
Mm-hmm. Idiot.
And we have a picture of Spock looking stoic.
Well, when does he not?
And a couple of guys dressed in costumes.
Those aren't costumes. Those are the regular clothes.
Anyway, I'm going to read the little blurb on the back so we get an idea, because I don't think there's a warning page in this one.
Okay, I got to get a flavor. All
right. So it says, the USS Enterprise has just received a frantic call for help from the vicinity of the unknown planet of Varda 3. An archaeological team from Luna University has disappeared without a trace. Lost, trapped, hurt? Their fading call offers no clues. Join Admiral Kirk and Mr. Spock, along with your other favorite Star Trek II characters, on a fantastic rescue mission to an alien planet. Plot your own journey through eerie passages, incredible dangers, and bizarre happenings. This is an adventure with as many twists and turns as your imagination allows. And it's up to you to determine how the story ends. You are in command.
Oh.
Commander B. Isn't it? Okay, I know that Spock doesn't have a title, but that's weird because everybody else does have
It's
a title.
just Mr. Spock?
Yeah.
Maybe Mr.'s like the highest title.
Maybe it's Mr. like it's a verb. And he's like, he takes care of all the plants and stuff.
Maybe he has a little spray bottle.
Yeah.
Just keeps with him at all times.
He's so caring and thoughtful.
He is.
So you guys ready to get started?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You didn't wait for my answer.
Are you ready to get started? Okay.
Wait.
Captain's log, stardate 8001.4. The USS Enterprise, on routine patrol, has received a distress call from the vicinity of Varda 3, and we are responding as interplanetary law requires. Admiral James T. Kirk, commanding. Mr. Spock. Yes, Captain. The lean, dark science officer turned towards the commander and raised his pointed eyebrows.
Oh my goodness. Lean, sinewy.
What do we know of this Varda 3? Kirk asked, knowing that the Vulcan would have retrieved the information.
Doing his speech pattern?
I don't know. Maybe.
I like that.
Knowing that the Vulcan would have retrieved the information from the ship's computer once the distress call had been received. An Earth-type planet within 5 points of Terran norm, Spock said. It is believed to have once been the base for a race of space-traveling humanoids, though now extinct. The call could have only come from an archaeological team from Luna University, who were conducting a dig there. Kirk frowned and rubbed his jaw. Pretty far out, aren't they?
Oh my god, stop.
Already? Not unusual for such research teams, Spock responded. Lieutenant Uhura. Keep trying to raise them, Kirk said. Aye, sir, but their fading call indicated either a power failure or, she hesitated, or interference. Kirk thumbed his command intercom. Yeah. Lieutenant Commander Chekhov, to the bridge. In a few moments, the elevator door hissed open and Pavel Chekhov walked quickly to Kirk's position. Captain, he said briskly. I just want to point out, they spelled Captain Keptin.
Captain.
Mr. Chekhov, prepare a team of 6 security men and a medical assistant for planetfall in... He looked at a clock. 2 hours. Kirk looked at Spock. Any precautions needed? Spock shook his head. No, Captain. At least none are indicated. His eyebrow went up. But I should point out that there must be some reason for the distress call. Kirk nodded and gestured at Chekhov. Go, armed and alert, and keep in touch. Yes, Captain, the young officer replied. He turned briskly and strode into the elevator. He did not smile until the doors had closed behind him, and then a happy smile broke across his face.
What? Weird.
Action, he thought. My own command on an unknown planet. Ugh. If you follow Chekhov directly to the surface of Varda 3, turn to page 3. If you first reconnoiter...
Oh, that's that word that Megan didn't know from another book.
Huh?
Oh, it was like reconnaissance.
Yeah. If you first perform reconnaissance on the planet, turn to page 4. So, do you want to go with Chekhov or perform reconnaissance?
Chekhov.
Yeah, I want to hear you do his accent some more. It's funny.
Oh man. Okay, so one nice thing that this book has is whenever you're on a page, it tells you from what page you came from.
Oh, that is nice.
Wait, You mean a competent person wrote this?
William Rotzer, you might be my favorite right now.
Yep.
Love Arthur. All this mental instabilities that's going on.
He's like the weird like existential stuff he's going through in his life is in his stories.
Chekhov used Spock's lifeform readings as a target and brought the shuttlecraft directly down towards the crescent of green along one of the many oceans. The security men tumbled from the spacecraft and set up a defensive perimeter.
Guys, just get off normally. Why are they like falling out like dominoes?
Well, I'm thinking like tumblers, like, isn't that what they call, like, before you're a ballerina, you take like a tumbling class?
They're like doing flips off each other and Cirque du Soleil down the ladder. Guys, just be normal.
Starfleet had long ago determined that there was danger in even the most innocent appearing of alien planets, and had prescribed certain precautions. The jungle was a tangled web of tubular plants, each fighting for precious water and sunlight.
Tubular. Right.
Leaving 2 men on guard, Chekhov took the rest of the landing party through the jungle towards the spot indicated by the lifeform readings. They emerged into a man-made clearing and saw the domes of the Terran archaeological team near the sharp angles of the star-shaped buildings they were excavating. Medic Narva Mokhtar pointed out an entrance in the structure and suggested they investigate.
You're having a stroke?
What?
What was that you said? What was that?
Narva Mokhtar?
What's that? Is that somebody's name?
That's, yeah.
Okay.
It's the name of the medic.
Oh.
So, if you decide to go immediately into the star-shaped building, turn to page 6. If you decide to look around a bit first, go to page 7.
I like to linger outside before a party.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no preference, so I'm going to go with Megan's.
We'll circle first, Chekhov said. The ground had been cleared only along 100 yards or so of the building. Further on, it was jungle, with vines creeping up the tiers of the star-shaped buildings and small bushes and trees growing from crevices. A very ancient structure, Medic Narva Mokhtar said, looking at her tricorder. 25 to 40,000 years old, at least. There were strange tube-like plants big enough to swallow a human, and buzzing insects in many colors and shapes. The flowers, if indeed they were flowers, were small, rather dull in color and plentiful. Some kind of small, armored creature scurried away through the leafy underbrush as they approached.
It's called an armadillo, guys. Stop making everything exotic.
It's super alien and foreign stuff.
Different, like, the insects are in different shapes. Does that mean there's, like a rectangle bug flying around? It's such a weird way to put that.
Hexagon bug.
Yeah, oh, that one, a little stop sign.
Chekhov halted the party and peered ahead. More of the same, he said.
I feel like you need to, like, be holding on to a bottle of vodka when you're trying to do something.
Is it all spelled like that? Or are you just...
Oh, he's just going fancy.
Keep going. I like it.
Let's go back and enter one of the cleared entrances. If you want to go in the first entrance, go to page 12. If you decide to enter the second entrance, proceed to page 13. William, also, just, man, damn good job on giving us a bunch of choices, too.
Yeah. So, wait, our character that we are right now.
We're basically Chekhov right now.
He expressed a preference.
He said, let's go back and enter one of the cleared entrances, so you can go to the first or second cleared entrance.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying, like, let's go in the first one, and we're like,
No.
let's go in the second one. I don't care what you say.
1 or 2.
I think number 2.
Well, you know what I think? I think number 1.
You want to go in the front door?
I want to do rock, paper, scissors.
All right.
Over this, the most important choice.
Yeah.
I just want some... Okay, ready?
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Scissors.
Oh,
Again?
yeah.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Scissors! Yeah!
God.
All right. Number 1 it is. They hesitated a moment at the first entrance, flashing their lights down the dark stone passageway, then proceeded with caution. Almost at once, they heard a scuffling sound, and into their light beams hopped a rabbit as big as a Shetland pony.
Oh, no, I'm imagining the dark crystal rabbits. Why did I do this?
That's bigger than much bigger.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the body may not. Is it really that much bigger? Because they just ride on it, and then it's just the spindly legs that are really long.
I forgot that Gelflings are really tiny. Yeah. Maybe it is that creature.
Well, I think the rest of the description is going to make you guys think of something else.
Oh, okay.
So a rabbit as big as a Shetland pony, complete with top hat and a big watch.
Oh my god.
I chose correctly.
Oh,
yeah, I just
no.
placed it.
Oh no, groaned Chekhov, remembering what he had been told of an incident long before he came aboard the Enterprise, of a shore leave on a planet in the Omicron Delta region. There was a computer programmed 1,000 years before by a now-dead race fulfilled various fantasies of its visitors.
That's a really weird sentence.
It couldn't be, he thought. Omicron Delta was light years away. The rabbit stopped and peered nearsightedly into their lights. I'm late, he said, and hopped off down a dark side passage.
Oh no, he's late.
No.
So, do you think Chekhov's going to be Alice?
Could be.
He's going to wear his cute little Mary Janes and a headband?
Mm-hmm. No, moaned Chekhov, shaking his head. What, sir? Narva Mokhtar asked, her dark-skinned face anxious.
What? Why would they say that?
Didn't you see that? Chekhov asked. Please say you saw it. If you want Narva to have seen the rabbit...
Are you serious?
Go to page 24. If you don't think Chekhov saw something real, proceed to page 25.
I wanted to be crazy.
25. Yeah.
Okay, so...
no, freak. You're weird.
Okay, gotcha. All right, let's see. 25.
That's a really weird choice. That's like a choice that we would put in one of our, like, we're trying to be stupid stories.
Yeah.
All right. What, sir? Did I see what? The young African medic asks. Her eyes examine Chekhov expertly, seeing...
Taking off his clothes with her well-practiced eyes.
Seeing his shock and concern. Nothing, Mr. Mokhtar, nothing. But his eyes betrayed him, looking nervously towards the dark tunnel where the creature disappeared. Go on. Continue, he ordered his men. What? You don't like my terrible accent?
I love it.
Does he want to suck our blood?
I'm just very embarrassed.
A few steps farther, and Chekhov stopped again, his mouth gaping open as he saw in a niche at the side of the passageway a large green-scaled dragon, calmly cleaning his claws with the barbed tip of his long tail. The dragon looked up with lazy, hooded eyes and gently burped.
Oh, I don't like that.
Excuse me, he rumbled politely. Chekhov turned to Mokhtar and forced his voice to be calm. Mr. Mokhtar, do you notice, anything unusual in the area? She frowned and looked around. He saw her eyes pass over the section of wall that housed the dragon's niche, but she did not blink an eye. No, sir. She looked anxiously at him. Sir, are you all right? I'm fine, Chekhov said.
I'm fine.
Turning slowly back. No niche, no dragon, only a terrible suspicion that he was going mad. If you think Chekhov is going mad, turn to page 41. If you believe him to be a victim of a trick, turn to page 42.
Oh, that's a hard one.
I mean, I don't want it to just be for no reason. Like, I want to know why he's seeing this stuff. It can't just be he's crazy, because that's a cop-out. It's like, it was all a dream, I
want it to be real. That's not a choice, though.
Well, it is a choice. What, like if somebody's playing a trick on him or something?
All right, let's go trick.
Okay.
Trick or treat.
Page 42.
October.
It's always October here.
Chekhov was sweating. It was too cold for him to be sweating, and he shot nervous glimpses at Mokhtar and the rest of his team. They seemed to be eyeing him secretly. They think I'm mad, he thought. He walked quickly ahead of them so that none of them could see his face. Maybe I am going mad, he thought. He rounded a turning in the passage and stopped. Ahead of him was an arrogant Cossack on a horse, sword at his side, a sneer on his bearded face. Without a moment's hesitation, the Cossack dug heels into his warhorse and charged right at Chekhov, his long, curved sword barely missing the stone ceiling as he waved the blade. Chekhov fired instinctively, his hand pointing the phaser straight at the hated Cossack.
Oh, dang. Why does he hate him?
The horse whinnied and tumbled, the sword striking sparks from the stone as he fell. Chekhov dodged, his head striking the wall, filling his mind with pain and light. Are you all right, sir? Mokhtar said, bending over him. Chekhov looked around. No horse, no Cossack. I tripped, he muttered. I'm not setting a good leadership example, he thought bitterly to himself. It must be an illusion, he thought, but it seemed so real.
I feel like he should be peeing his pants because he was so excited to get some action on the ship.
Chekhov and his people moved carefully along the stone passageway. From time to time, they heard rumblings ahead, odd echoing noises that made them nervous. They then came upon a large, thick door. It opened easily enough, though it creaked. What lay beyond made Chekhov gasp. What do you think it was?
I don't know. I mean, it could be anything. Like, it's not a specific story he's thinking of. It's just random crap.
Nude rat.
Nude rat?
Yeah.
I think it was it's in a human body shape, but it's all eggs.
Ooh.
All right,
So the sexiest sight that you could see.
Let's find out. It was Red Square itself. Phalanxes of 20th century tanks surrounded them. Their primitive chemically fired weapons pointed right at him.
What?
Helmeted Russian soldiers aimed what were to Chekhov ancient weapons at him. Beyond lay the Kremlin and St. Basil's.
That's not an Eggman.
It's not.
It's not a rat.
That's not a naked rat.
Or a walrus.
What? You were wanting to be a walrus?
No, I am the Eggman.
I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about a body shape made of eggs.
All right.
How dare you?
There's a lot of patty stew heads, pie in a pile. Beautiful.
Aww, all drinking Earl Grey hot tea hot.
Oh, hot.
I'm playing the little flute.
Don't talk about the flute. Oh my god.
Do
you remember that episode?
That's a wonderful episode.
It is no, it's not wonderful.
Yeah, it is. That's a great episode.
It's a good episode, but it's not wonderful. It's horrifying. He's haunted.
But he's carrying on the memory of a civilization.
He was ready to die. Yeah. And now he has to live again.
It's not, now he has to. He gets to.
No, has to.
Has to.
Suddenly.
Anyway.
Chekhov startled himself by laughing. His voice ran out across the great square, and Narva Mukhtar glanced at her superior officer as if he were insane. Fantasy, Chekhov said, choking with laughter. It's not real. Even as they watched, the tanks and soldiers faded. The walls of the Kremlin became the dull stone walls of a large room. The colorful domes of St. Basil's faded too, leaving only 9 grumpy-looking scientists staring ruefully at Chekhov. You're no fun, one of them said. I told you we should have been using some really scary illusions, another said. One of the men sighed loudly. I'm Galen Tripp, whoever you are. He waved at a golden cone with a number of dots and squiggles on it. We found this Varden illusion machine, and I'm afraid we just stopped being serious.
Oh.
We played, giggled a gray-haired woman.
We play! Like that? Is that what you wanted?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, everybody, because that was really annoying sounding.
Almost got you, though, another man smiled.
That's not funny, dude.
Maybe next time, Galen sighed. Chekhov pulled out his communicator. Enterprise, this is Chekhov. Mission accomplished. You should have tried Tolkien, one scientist said, or Attila the Hun, he smiled in fond memory. Or Disney. The end.
I don't remember what the mission was.
Yeah, I don't either.
The mission was you guys were trying to save the archaeological team.
But they were fine.
Yeah.
We did it!
All right.
Mission accomplished.
What in the world?
Guys, you guys.
Like, I wonder if... I mean, this is... What would happen if we went in the second door?
Are you more curious about that or the crazy option?
Yeah, you guys had a bunch of crazy options.
Yeah.
I mean, the one, where we could choose if we were going crazy.
Yeah, let's see what happens if we're going crazy.
So in this one, we're going to assume that he's just going mad.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Chekhov's team proceeded slowly into the dark stone passages of the immense star-shaped building. He nervously gripped his phaser, his palms sweaty. Am I going insane, he wondered. I saw what I saw, yet others did not. They turned a corner and Chekhov saw the soft light of a window in the stone wall. Ordering the others to stay back, he approached it with a dry mouth. What?
He did not approach it with the traditional soaking wet mouth, guys.
Yeah. I need to start putting that kind of thing in my stories. Like, he approached with pants dry.
Yeah.
The window looked out upon the snow-covered housetops of his beloved Moscow. Chekhov blinked. It was not a model nor a projection. He was looking out a window at his hometown. There were the aged minarets and fantasy onion domes of St. Basil's and the dull stone walls of the Kremlin. On the edge of the old city, he saw the magnificent new archaeological structures, the monoliths that housed 1 million people each, Red Star, Lenin Gora, Spirit of Tomorrow, and the Kaliningrad. People walked the snowy streets. Air cars flitted through the buildings as they had all his life. He could see a sign for a department store, a patriotic projection on a low-flying cloud, a surface car with engine trouble. A trick, he muttered. Some kind of trick.
Treacle. That's what I thought when you were saying it.
Chekhov and his people moved carefully along the stone passageway. From time to time, they heard rumblings ahead, odd echoing noises that made them nervous. Then they came upon a large, thick door. It opened easily enough. What lay beyond made Chekhov gasp. So then it actually continues right back to the same thing.
So it wasn't
Red's,
him going crazy?
Yeah, so back to Red Square and back to finding the scientists.
That's bull.
Okay. Do you want to go in a different door or just like go back to the beginning and choose not Chekhov?
Oh. I'd like to go in a different door.
Okay.
And kind of close that storyline, and then we can see what they see.
Okay, so now, whenever you guys had a choice of which door to go in instead of the first one, we're going to go in the second.
It's just going to be like, there's scientists there, and everything's good. Bye.
Okay. They approached the entrance cautiously, entering slowly, but the passage contained nothing more dangerous or exciting than some carved murals. The corridor slanted downward, twisting and turning. Here and there they found niches with many balls, cones, cubes, and other shapes glowing in soft colors.
Shapes.
They put their lights into a room filled with soft tubular forms hanging from the ceiling, then in another chamber filled with fuzzy lumps of blue.
Ew.
Chekhov stared, realized they were not some sort of mutant tribble, and ordered his team to go on. The passage branched a short distance ahead.
How did he realize it?
Because they weren't multiplying? I don't know.
Because they weren't trouble?
Yeah. They were making those cute little sounds.
Aww.
The passages seemed to go on forever, and Chekhov was increasingly aware of the pressure of millions of tons of stone over his head.
Oh.
He kept a quiet watch on Narva Mokhtar, the medic, and on his security team. Leadership was a great responsibility, which he felt keenly. They all stopped when they heard a slithering sound. They looked at one another for explanation, but before anyone could act, a flood of soft red balls came sweeping along the passage.
I just like that they looked at each other like, who's making that slithering sound? And then when I think of the word slither, I definitely always think that it's going to be balls.
Yeah.
What else could it be?
Narva screamed, and Chekhov thumbed his phaser to kill and sprayed the wall of red balls with deadly fire.
Ew, a spray?
But nothing stopped them. The soft red objects, rubbery and clinging, were quickly smothering Chekhov and his entire crew. Just getting buried in balls.
Balls deep.
So for a quick solution, go to page 38. For a strange experience, go to page 40.
Strange. But what?
Yeah, this is a strange choice. No pun intended.
Wah, wah.
The red tide carried them roughly along a passageway, smothering them in their soft, warm bodies.
Oh, God.
Chekhov fought, but it was like punching clouds. After a rough ride, he found himself dumped on a stone floor. His sight was returned as the red balls rolled and oozed and crept away into fist-sized holes in the floor and disappeared.
What?
Right, it's sounding more and more sexual.
Yeah, this is
a bunch.
Weird.
Chekhov looked around, seeing by the blotched light from patches of luminous lichen on the old stone walls. Seated in the lotus position were a number of humans wearing tattered Luna University jumpsuits. One of them opened his eyes slowly and stared at them a moment before speaking. "I'm Galen Tripp. You must be our rescuers. Please pardon us. We'll be with you in a moment." He then closed his eyes again.
Ugh,
Chekhov
Galen.
looked at Narva Mokhtar, and she shrugged.
I don't know.
Are any of you hurt? Chekhov asked. The team members shook their heads, looking warily for more red blobs. They're just not satisfied. Like, I need some more blobs.
Hey, where'd the blobs go?
The young Russian officer got to his feet and looked around. There was one opening out of the room, and Chekhov strode over to it. The corridor beyond was dimly lit with glowing lichen, and he started to walk down it. The red blobs came up out of the holes and gathered around his feet. With a horrified cry, Chekhov toppled over and fell. The red blobs flowed over him like in his dreams.
Like in his dreams?
Okay,
What?
the like in his dreams I might have added.
Oh. Okay, that makes a lot more sense, because I was like, why is he dreaming about this?
The red blobs released him back into the room again. Galen Tripp opened his eyes and sighed. I should have told you. You can't fight them. Phasers don't work. They heal themselves too fast. That's fast? Chekhov said, shocked. Tripp nodded. To them, we're antibodies. They were the protectors of the city when the Vardens were alive. They can handle anything. Electrical energy, acid, venom, anything. So we're trying the only thing left. I hope it's like a sweet song.
I was just thinking at them. I mean, if you want to sing a sweet song.
Yeah.
Let's
To
see
everyone.
Let's see what happens.
Sing your little song, Paul.
Yeah, you got a song in your heart?
The archaeologist looked at his 8 companions. Now we have a focus, a place to go. Chekhov tugged his communicator. I'll have them beam us up. I'll give them the coordinates and... Don't bother, Tripp said with a faint smile. The blobs removed a lot more than dead cells and harmful bacteria from our bodies. They removed poisons from the mind.
Okay, he's really full of himself.
With that, he began to fade. Eyes closed, a smile on his face. The others followed. In a minute, they were gone.
That expression is really weird to imagine. Like sitting there with your eyes closed and smiling.
Chekhov flipped open his communicator. Transporter room. This is Chekhov.
I need more vodka. I'm sorry, Russians. I'm sorry. Please don't be upset.
No, it's fine. I was trying to think of how to do this accent.
Just really push it.
No, not. It's not a Russian accent.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm not going to try. I can't do an Irish accent.
Oh, it's so difficult.
Or a Scottish, I guess.
That's also really difficult.
Nope.
Yeah. Mr. Chekhov, Scotty said in exasperation.
Hi.
Who are these people who just beamed aboard? We'll explain when we get aboard, Commander Scott. Prepare to beam us up. And
That's it?
that's it. The scientists saved themselves. They Cheshired catted out of there.
They just left you?
Yeah. They didn't cleanse your mind, I guess.
That's rude.
You were too busy enjoying being swept up.
Yeah.
They are rude. I think we should get away from them.
Yeah, I don't like it. Let's go back to the friggin' ship, not follow Chekhov, and just be like up there like, oh man, he's gonna have a bad time. We're not going anywhere.
Okay. So instead, we're first going to perform reconnaissance on the planet.
Yeah, I wonder what could be happening down there.
All right. Let's see. Chekhov assembled a team of red-clad security men and a combat nurse, Narva Mokhtar, a slim and attractive medic from Liberia, United States of Africa, Earth.
I like how they're explaining her now and not in the previous one.
We learned stuff about her over time.
We sure know a lot.
Weird, just stuff that you would see.
Just skin stuff.
Yeah, just skin.
He hustled them aboard the shuttlecraft, and they soon dropped away from the orbiting Enterprise and began circling the planet. 2 small moons, reported Narva. Varda's gravity is 0.8 of Earth's, so we'll be a little light. The shuttlecraft spiraled closer to the surface as Chekhov watched through the telescopic sensors. Rather an arid planet, he said. Deserts and strips of green along the many oceans. I see you laughing.
Well, it's really funny. You didn't laugh whenever I was doing that vampire voice?
I didn't.
You did. I hated it.
Although they listened carefully, they heard no further messages on the interplanetary distress channel. We'll go lower and see if we can spot anything. I feel like it's changing now.
Now you're doing a Scottish.
No. Chekhov reported to the Enterprise bridge. There are intermittent life form readings in Sector 12 West. Oh wait, that was a different person. There are intermittent life form readings in Sector 12 West, Mr. Spock told the landing party by radio. Aye, sir. We'll investigate. God damn it, I've gone full Scottish.
Yeah, you really have. Aye, laddie. Just think about vodka. Just think about onion globe buildings. I don't know. Think about those hats.
The shuttlecraft flew in low over the bleak hills of the western desert, then came up upon the green coastal strip. Narva pointed out the overgrown ruins of some kind of ancient structures ahead, and the shuttle was set down in a clearing. The security men leaped from the ship and immediately set up a defensive perimeter, their phasers at the ready. Leaving 2 men to guard the vessel, Chekhov took 4 men and Narva towards the low buildings they saw ahead. The jungle around them was different from anything Chekhov had seen before.
Hey! They got us on that planet again! Mm-hmm. We were supposed to be doing reconnaissance from ups in space!
You did, a little bit.
Ugh! I just want to watch from space while all this stupid stuff happens and people are carried away by orbs.
Just want to sit on my little chair and look at the screen.
Yeah. Just like have like silence and then small talk with people who are on the bridge.
The plants were like soft cactus, built to soak up and retain all the moisture they could.
All the moisture that they could ever have wanted.
There were short, fat, tendril-like plants that moved sluggishly, weaving towards the Terran intruders.
Ew. Ugh. I don't like that, because that just makes me think about, like, because they're short and fat, but how can you be tendrily if you're short? Because tendrils are long. It's like these little penises, like, seeking.
Ugh. Little sneaky ones, gross.
Ugh.
The landing party broke through the jungle into an area that had been cleared by phasers and saw before them the partially unearthed archaeological site. Nearby was a cluster of inflated domes and the usual tools and necessities of an archaeological dig. But before them was a series of star-shaped buildings, tier rising upon tier, made of shaped stone, with an entrance at each inner joining of the triangular sections.
Are they going to make us do this again?
Navarre held up her tricorder so that Chekhov could read it. Some kind of life form readings in that building, she pointed out. Chekhov nodded and flipped his communicator to report in. If you go directly to the star-shaped building, turn to page 8. If you decide to investigate further before reading, go to page 10.
Okay, so there's just a loop.
Okay, we gotta go to the building and... Alright. So there were basically 2 endings, where one of them is that the stuff in the building is messing up everything, and then the other is that the scientists are just being jerks and doing mean stuff to you. I think there's a lot of stuff we didn't see.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a fair amount. Oh, so it is different.
Oh,
If you guys, it sounds very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Both lead to different things than what you guys have done.
Let's see what's up.
Okay, so let's look around some more. Lieutenant Commander Chekhov led his team along the side of the ancient star-shaped building. They noted the small insects and the odd little flowers, suspicious of anything, as was proper on a totally new planet.
Oh, they were not the flowers. I was like, why are the flowers suspicious?
It is Alice in Wonderlandy.
Yeah.
Could be.
You never know your friends or your enemies on new planets, Dr. McCoy had often told them. Sir, Narva Mokhtar said, pointing to another entrance into the structure. All right, Chekhov said. With 2 ways in, we can hope there are 2 ways out. They entered the building cautiously, stepping over pieces of broken... That's just not fair. What?
Where we say, I don't want to go in, and it's like, you're going to go in. You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's a point off, William.
Yeah, William.
Yeah.
They entered the building cautiously, stepping over pieces of broken rock and flashing their lights along the dark, silent corridors. The passage took a turning, and they were out of sight of the rectangle of light that marked the exit. Chekhov put in a call to the bridge of the Enterprise. We have seen nothing yet, Captain, he said. We are... On the bridge, they heard his yell of surprise, then the sounds of frightened men, and then... silence. Chekhov, Lieutenant Commander Uhura said sharply. Come in, please. She made several more attempts, then looked at Admiral Kirk. We've lost contact, sir.
Uh-oh.
There's something in the stone of the building, Captain, Spock said. Without a specific guiding beam, we can't focus, and therefore cannot beam them up safely. Kirk slapped his armchair controls. Security!
What?
2T.
It's like Emperor Palpatine now.
Security. 2 teams, fully armed, to the transporter room, immediately. Mr. Spock, you'll take your own team down. Mr. Sulu, you have the con. That's interesting. I always thought it was com.
It is.
It says...
Communicator?
It says con.
Console?
C-O-N-N.
I know.
I don't know. I always thought it was com, like you have... Well, it's a bad sentence. You have the command.
Con.
I don't know.
What could that be short for?
I don't know.
Possibly a misprint, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe it's supposed to be an M. It's 2 N's look too similar. Yeah. I don't know what they're talking about.
Kirk all but leapt towards the elevator door, which hissed open before him.
What does that mean?
If you follow Mr. Spock and his team to the surface of Varda 3, go to page 16. If you follow Admiral Kirk, go to page 17.
Wait, tell me the choices again. Okay, here's what I'm thinking about. Because in the page it said he all but leapt. It just makes me feel like he did everything but leap to get there, where he's like monkey walking and like scooting. Yeah. Okay, so we're either
going with Spock or going with Kirk.
I don't go with Spock.
No one wants to go with Kirk.
I have a feeling I knew what your answers were going to be.
I don't care, Kirk.
All right. The transporter beams set Kirk's and Spock's teams a short distance apart, and Spock immediately took his team towards the far entrance, leaving Admiral Kirk to take the closest. Spock ordered all phasers set to stun, and then plunged quickly into the excavated entrance of the immense cluster of ancient star-shaped buildings.
It's like he's a vampire. Like he escape. That's the image in my head anyway.
Spock kept his eye on Lieutenant Lex Nakashima, a brilliant young computer expert of Japanese-American descent. This was his first alien planetfall and far different from his formerly sheltered life surrounded by massive computer banks. The stone passage was dark. Their lights flashed along its length, revealing only dust at first, then the skeleton of some kind of creature. Spock paused next to it, noting the decayed shreds of clothing and the moldering remains of a weapons belt. A Thrix, I believe, Spock said. Fascinating. They have been extinct for centuries. He motioned down the corridor. Continue, Lieutenant.
Keep finding them.
Nakashima put his phaser in his other hand, then wiped his wet palm on his uniform before transferring it back.
Ew.
He peered into the dimness of the corridor ahead, trying to make believe this was some kind of elaborate game simulation where all the senses were involved. But he couldn't quite do that. It was too real, too harsh, with too many possibilities around each turning of the corridor. So this is the relatable character.
This is a weirdo. He's like, this is like I'm a spy. But it's also happening, which is kind of a buzzkill.
Am I afraid? He wondered.
Is this fear?
Of course I'm afraid. Any sensible entity should be afraid. But that does not mean I'm ready to panic. He remembered something Mr. Spock had said. Whenever fear drives you to panic, remember that this is the worst possible time to panic. Think of the options. What do we fear most? Nakashima thought. The unknown, of course. Our own imagination works against us. The young officer grinned, but the familiar never excited anyone like the unknown, he thought. He moved ahead, into the unknown.
Why is this happening?
To follow Lieutenant Nakashima more closely, turn to page 53. To stay at Spock's heels, proceed to page 54.
Follow this weird. I want to stay with Spock.
Oh, he's thinking too much.
You don't want to deal with the guy who's coming to grips with real life.
He's describing way too much, and he's like, what do I feel? Is it fear? Is it, what is it?
He's just going to fall into a hole, so.
It's like he was just born as a matured adult.
Yeah, he's like, what is this sensation?
Spock's tricorder lit up. There was some kind of life ahead. Maybe it was Nakashima. Like, he's just now showing signs of life.
Well, I was thinking, like, there's some kind of life ahead, like his new calling or something. Yeah. Like some kind of life. I don't know what it is yet.
He alerted the security detail and listened carefully. The dark passages had whispering echoes, distant rasping sounds.
Rapping. Like there's beatboxing ahead.
In soft, unintelligible murmurs.
Oh my god. It's just like, what is it? Like wheezing, knocking. It's like, I don't like go over there.
Those red balls. Rapping and slithering all over the place.
Yeah.
These sounds disconcerted the men.
Yeah.
But Spock tried to sort them out. There was a sudden burst of flaming energy along the left-hand wall, and the stones exploded from stress. A phaser beam, coming out of the dark, had disintegrated a great scar into the ancient stone. Spock's men dived for the floor, but his sharp command kept them from firing back. "Who is there?" Spock called out. "You'll not get us," a voice cried in interplanetary English. "We'll die before we become your mind slaves." "Dr. Tripp?" Spock called out, naming the leader of the archaeologists. "We're from the USS Enterprise. We are answering your distress signal." "No, no," the voice in the dark growled. "It's a trick." Another phaser beam seared a groove along the ceiling and partway down the wall, showering the crew members with shards of burning rock.
So he's not all smiley and full of himself now.
Dang.
"I'm glad he's a lousy shot," Nakashima muttered.
What an idiot.
"Perhaps he's only trying to scare us off," Spock said. Then he shouted at Tripp. "Doctor, who or what do you think us to be?" "The Philakis, of course. The Guardian. Don't try to trick us."
Of course.
Page 72. The Philakis. Everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's favorite character from Star Trek. Favorite race, right up there with like the Borg and the Ferengi.
Those are not anybody's favorite, okay?
Someone might like the Ferengis the best.
There's only one Ferengi that you could possibly like, and that's Quark.
What about Rom?
Can't like him with his weird screams. Megan doesn't watch Deep Space Nine.
Oh, that makes it better.
It's like Quark owns a bar and he's like swarthy and like, but also secretly good natured, and he doesn't like being nice to people, but he is. And then his brother works in the bar with him, and his brother's like really stupid and like
he's not
nice. He's just stupid.
He's socially stupid.
Yeah, he's socially stupid. And like he's kind of a wuss, and so when something scary happens, he screams really weirdly.
Yeah.
Where he's like, ah, just over and over. And you're like, that's not a scream. Why? Ugh.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the story.
Anyway.
"We are Federation personnel," Spock called out. "We don't know that. The Guardian is very clever," Tripp yelled. "At first it seemed to be human like us. That's when we lost Alicia. Then it came to us like a beautiful woman and we lost Abdullah. Then the voice choked. It came as my wife. My dead wife."
Oh my god, what?
"How can we prove we're not the Guardian?" Spock said. "You can't!" Tripp growled, firing again, exploding a section of wall. The security men hunched under the shower of broken stone and looked at Spock. "I'm coming to you," Spock said. "I'll shoot!" screamed Tripp.
Ugh.
"No, I don't believe so," Spock said. "Mr. Spock," Nakashima said, reaching for him. But Spock was standing in the center of the corridor. Then he began to walk slowly into the darkness.
Spock's dead.
The page.
Oh.
"Dr. Tripp, I am Vulcan. I am a Vulcan, not a human," Spock said. "But I am real, not an illusion." "I'll shoot!" "I don't believe so, Doctor. You have not really tried to kill anyone. You have been acting out of fear." Spock was in complete darkness now, though he knew he was outlined against the light beams behind them.
It's like he's trying to create some ambiance here.
"It would not be logical for you to kill me if there is any hope that I am who and what I say I am." There was no sound from the archaeologist. "Come out," Spock said. "The Guardian was just protecting this temple. If we leave, there will be no more danger." A light snapped on, and Spock could see the exhausted survivors staring at him, their faces still filled with fear. One of the men held out his hand, offering Spock the phaser. "Keep it," the Vulcan said. He pulled out his communicator. "Transporter room. Lock on these coordinates and prepare to beam up 7 survivors. A smile slowly grew across Trip's bearded face. You passed the test, he said. You mean when I let you keep your weapon? Spock responded. That was only logical. The Guardian would have disarmed you. Spock turned towards the security detail. Now we must find out what trouble Mr. Chekhov has gotten into, he said. The end.
He's getting orbed on.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just want to say, like, that was probably the most positive story we've read. Almost every ending was us saving the archaeologists.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. We did it. Star Trek style.
Are you full of joy?
I am full of joy.
Yeah.
Because I liked the last one the best. So I was like, yeah, okay. We're like, Spock is like a comforting presence. So you're just like, yeah, he's going to do it right.
Well, I think you should get that haircut. You know, look good.
The Spock haircut?
Yeah.
Please don't.
Maybe.
Do it.
I don't know.
I'll do it too.
Hard angle. It'd be tough. I'd have to bring my hairline back a little bit.
That's no problem.
You don't.
I don't know. Megan says it's no problem.
Yeah. No problem.
So.
And the eyebrows.
Well, yeah, the eyebrows would be the hard part.
That's an easy one. What?
That's an easy
You just
one?
have to shave part of it so that it angles up.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it. I got you.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Michael, for the book.
Yeah.
It was a delight.
It was so good, and we liked, reading from a competent author rather than what we have been doing.
It was just nice to get some little perks in this story,
Yeah, and now we know that we have to add into our story like really weird details about stuff that doesn't matter.
What's wet,
like
what's
how
dry.
Somebody's.
Yeah.
Okay, what's wet right now?
Maybe that was something that just really bothered the author. Whenever like someone would enter a scene, it's like, but is his mouth wet or not? How am I supposed to relate to him?
My mouth's wet.
Yeah.
He's just like drinking water, but then also putting paper towels in his mouth because he's just not sure and he wants it to be like.
It's like, okay, when my mouth is wet, how do I feel? What emotion does this denote? And I mean, I feel like he was English, so I wonder if that's an English thing. Like, how dry is your mouth? I don't know. Because he said, like, turning.
That just sounds like
turn.
euphemism.
I don't know. I don't know what English people do with their wet mouths or dry mouths.
Cracker dry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's dry.
Biscuits.
Yeah, biscuit dry.
Just put some biscuits in there. Really dry it out.
Biscuits.
What is happening? Oh, man. Well, it was excellent. I'm so happy. Thanks for reading, and thanks for doing a really good job with accents.
Oh, yeah.
Real good job.
Clearly practiced.
Yeah, it's just my favorite was whenever you were like, I don't know how to do this accent, and then you just suddenly started doing it on the wrong character.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Yeah, you're the worst, and everybody should tell you that by emailing us.
They could email us at strangepathspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, or you can tweet about how bad Paul is at accents, or could, because you're really good at it, babe.
Yeah.
At Strange Paths Pod on Twitter.
Yeah, tweet him. Or you can
tweet it.
Email me a bunch of freakish stuff, whatever demented things run through your mind, how wet, how dry you are, at bozosglowglobes@gmail.com. And we've got...
I really want to hear what people have to weigh in on this wet, dry mouth situation.
Tell me about how
and the
wet.
whole deluge of red balls thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Email me all your ball stuff.
Like, where does that fall on, like, the fetish list here?
I don't want to get too far
drowned
into
in
fetishes.
balls. All right, fine.
Although I guess
Bozo
Megan
wants
does.
to know.
Yeah, Bozo gets to
And
know.
we've got some questions.
Ooh.
Let's see. Well, most of them are from Robin, and by most I mean all. The first one is, let's see, do you have any recommendations for videos to watch at night? For the fuzzy tingle times, for example? Asking for a friend. Oh, right, wait, recommendations for fuzzy tingle times at night times. Videos, let's see. Oh boy. What have I been watching on the YouTubes? Let's see, do you guys have any answers? I like watching a lot of goth fashion videos.
I don't know. I mean, what do they talk about? Just black stuff and...
Yeah, just...
Or, like, pastel stuff? I don't know. I guess it depends.
Mainly just a lot of where you can get some cool goth clothes, and there's some, like, you know, glam time, I don't know, fashion show type stuff. Do you know how expensive it is to, like, dressing like a goth, unless you're doing it very simply? It's so stupid expensive.
Yeah, you gotta have a lot of accessories.
Yes. Like, I don't know, a lot of specially made clothes are so expensive, so much lace, so much detail.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I don't know. I mean, specifically for fuzzy tingle time, I guess that depends on who you are. But, I mean, you know, there's ASMR stuff that makes you fuzzy tingle time.
You know, I love some good ASMR.
I don't know of any ASMR channels because it doesn't make me tingly. So I haven't really gotten into it.
But you also don't get... Do you get tingly if someone, like, touches you? Like, softly?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Maybe I haven't listened to the right ones.
Like, if someone whispers really close to my ear, it happens, and it's embarrassing because I get goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's
it
very
happens
visible.
to me sometimes.
I don't know. I think maybe, yeah, because it doesn't happen to me all the time. It probably happens to me, like, maybe 1/20th of the time, and it has to be very specific subject matter, like a medical exam or something. It can't be, like, mouth sounds or, like, hissing sounds. That just makes me disturbed. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it happens whenever I get a haircut.
Yeah.
Because they got all their spidery fingers all over you.
I don't know, but it does happen for me, just auditory sometimes.
I want to be shivery in public or from sound.
I use it mostly when I'm just, like, by myself for a long time. So maybe that's it too, because I don't have a lot of physical contact, so I have a lot of weird pent up energy or something.
Yeah. You're just like any sensation sends you rocketing.
Yes.
It's like your own, like, sensory deprivation tank.
Yeah. It's just my life.
Anything else to add about that? About tingle times?
Yeah, Paul, what do you watch late at night to get tingly?
Who gets you tingling?
Yeah, who gets that tingle up?
Why are you going immediately to who?
Who, Paul?
I'm trying to think, like, what have I been watching lately on YouTube? Mostly a lot of synthwave videos.
Yeah, that'll get your tingles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Get a nice soundscape going.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a super nerd, go ahead and get in on that.
You know, like, there's Redmayne's Recording. That's a really fun channel. It's got...
I mean, I like it.
So yeah, that's my suggestion.
So sorry, Robin, they weren't, like, you know, super...
erotic.
Yeah, no erotic. Bisons of Erotic Fury videos.
Let's see. If I think of anything else, I'll go ahead and tell her. Do you know that Anthony once showed me how to purchase drugs from Australia by mail order? The website is shut down, but it was very helpful for a time. I do remember that. I think it was birth control. And I was looking on there for
regular drugs.
No. Yeah. I was looking on there for, like, inhalers because I was having some just issues and they're really expensive and stuff was a lot cheaper on that website. It was great. And I guess it's no more. It's upsetting. Yeah. I need my inhalers.
Megan really likes to inhale stuff, so.
Mm-hmm. Doing it this whole time? No, that's not true.
So thanks for listening, everyone.
Yay!
And if you have other books for us, we'll be happy to read them.
Yeah, I want to read all kinds of books.
Or write your own story.
Yeah.
Send it in. We'd love to explore all of that.
We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.